gives me immense pleasure to welcome to all of you to this special session on integrated business solutions paper. I hope all of you doing well and are planning with dedication for your coming examinations. Students, IBS is one of the most unique and dynamic paper at CA final level. Unlike traditional subject-wise examinations, IBS requires you to think beyond individual subjects and requires to develop integrated perspective. It tests your ability to connect concepts from financial reporting, auditing, taxation, law, as well as from strategic cost management area. The objective of this paper is not merely to test your technical knowledge, but to assess how effectively you can apply that knowledge in the real business situations. As a future chartered accountants, you will be expected to advise the management, solve complex business problems, evaluate strategic alternatives, identify risk, ensure compliances, and create value. Create value for stakeholders. IBS is designed to develop exactly these professional competencies. Therefore, while approaching a case study, always remember that there is rarely a single subject solution. You need to think holistically, connect different dots, identify interrelationships among various issues, and provide practical business oriented recommendations. Today's session has been especially designed to help you understand the integrated approach and develop the mindset required to tackle multidisciplinary case studies very confidently. Now, dear students, in today's session, we are going to discuss a case study on the hotel industry, one of the most dynamic and strategically important sector in global economy. The hotel industry is one of the fastest growing segment of the hospitality sector, contributing significantly to economic growth, employment generation, tourism, as well as foreign exchange earnings. The industry includes luxury, upscale, mid-scale, budget, and extended stay hotels, catering to diverse customer segments. In recent years, the sector has undergone rapid transformation. Hotels are increasingly leveraging technologies such as AI, data analytics, contactless services, and integrated property management system to enhance operational efficiency and customer satisfaction. At the same time, the industry faces challenges including fluctuating occupancy rates, rising operating costs, labor shortages, supply chain disruptions, food wastage, and intense competition from alternate accommodation providers. Consequently, hotel companies are focusing on innovation, operational excellence, asset light expansion, ESG initiatives, strategic partnerships, and effective cost management to achieve sustainable growth while delivering superior value to guests and other stakeholders. Today's case study covers a wide range of issues. It includes the provision of Section 185 of the Companies Act 2013 relating to loans to directors and loans to the person in whom any of the directors of the company is interested, as well as the disclosure requirement under section 197 of the Companies Act. Read with Rule 5.1. The case also examines the initial and subsequent accounting treatment of concessional loan granted to employees in accordance with Ind AS 109, as well as this this case study also requires you to evaluate the hotel's supply chain, including food sourcing strategies, inventory management, supplier relationship, while recommending suitable measures to improve operational efficiency, cost optimization, as well as sustainability. What makes this case interesting is that it shows how business decision cannot be taken in isolation. A strategic decision may have accounting implication, regulatory consequences, taxation impact, audit consideration, and long-term effects on shareholder value. Therefore, successful handling of an IBS case requires you to think integratedly. It requires integrated thinking and a holistic business perspective. By the end of session, I hope you will appreciate that disruption is not merely a theoretical concept, it is a strategic, operational, regulatory, financial reality that organizations must continuously navigate. Today's case study has been especially designed to promote higher order thinking skills by requiring you to analyze, evaluate, and recommend practical solutions in a real business environment. The case study has already been uploaded on the knowledge portal. I encourage all participants to review it carefully. You are welcome to ask your questions. We have also reserved the last 15 minutes for an open question and answer sessions, during which you may ask or seek any clarification on examination strategy, preparation techniques, or other IBS related issues. Today, we are privileged to have C.A. Sumit Datta sir, a prominent chartered accountant with extensive experience in auditing, valuation, advisory services across diverse industries. His professional journey reflects a unique blend of technical excellence and strategic insight, making him exceptionally well suited to guide you here. We sincerely thank sir for joining us, and especially during his busy audit schedule. With these words, let us begin today's session. I now invite CA Sumit Dada sir to lead us through this engaging and thoughtful provoking session. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Sri Deepak Gupta sir, for the warm introduction and setting the context right. And as you rightly said, that this subject will evolve as a professional you all, though this subject is very vast subject because it is not 2 plus 2 4. When you are into advisory, you can't just give one number. You need to look overall gamut, because when you as a consultant advise, your advice should not be limited to only one law. I need to look that what will happen in another various laws. So let's say if you are advising something on income tax, what impact it will have on Ind AS, what impact it will have on Companies Act, what impact it will have on GST. If you do not consider all this and give half baked advice, it will not be appreciated well. In a short term, it can work fine, but in a long run, implications can come a lot. And that's why they say, you cannot be penny wise and pound foolish. You cannot give a quick advice and say my job is done. So when you are into a consulting, you need to see overall picture. Now coming to today's topic on Sartaj hotels. Now before we go into the case study and to understand, now according to you, if you have an idea, how does the if you want to look into the hotel industry, How does the hotel industry works? What is the business model of hotel industry? If let's say tomorrow you want to set up a hotel, let's say Sartaj Hotels Group or any other hotel industry which you like, how do you think, what are the requirements for hotel industry? Any quick thoughts? How will you set up? You want to start a business of hotel industry. How could you think of any quick thoughts? Let's say you are a person having lot of bars and refreshment. Okay, that's a low hanging fruit and the highest revenue generation area. So let's say you are a person who has a property. You have a huge land property available with you, but you have no background of hotel industry. Now, how do you think you can make a hotel? That's a context. So let's say you have land with you. Will people come to any hotel, or people will prefer to come with a hotel which has a name fame? Generally, we are talking generally. Generally, how do you think people will come? I have a very good property which is having the required amenities. Only the amenities will serve you, or when you Google, you look for the brand name. When you look for a restaurant, you only look for amenities, or you will look for customer ratings, reviews. How does that happen? Or you only see the amenities, or you are also guided by subconsciously you take a decision based on brand name. Yes, no, maybe. So given a choice, we all will prefer to go for a brand, that we all agree. Given a choice, we all prefer to go for a brand, given a choice. Now, if I am a new guy in the town who just have a land, I cannot create a brand name in a day's time, in a month's time. Rating amenities near to airport, railway, these are the important factors for choosing. Now, can this be the only factor for making a decision? Uh, Samanathan, can this be the only factor? Okay, now think of price. Now think if Mr. Mukesh Ambani or Anant Ambani would like to choose for a hotel. They will see a hotel which is near to airport, near to railway, or a cheaper price, but this will be immaterial for them. These factors will be immaterial. They will only look for the comfort, luxury, and privacy. Do you agree? They will only look for privacy, and privacy comes with a cost, right? Because if they look into any hotel where anyone can come and go, it is not a hotel. They will look for a very expensive hotel where very few people can come. Depend on what customers you want to get, right? So now we'll start with basic thought first. If I want to start a hotel business, let's say if I want to start a hotel business, in that scenario, I need to have I have a land, but the land alone cannot get customers. So I will build a hotel. Now I have two, three choices with me. First, can I take franchisee of any hotel brand? Can I take that? Can I go to Taj, Oberoi's, ITC, Ashoka Group and say, you give me your brand name, I'll run my hotel under your flagship? Possible? So that is one way. So that is one way you go and take the franchisee. Second way could be I can go to them and say, I'm making a structure, you operate it. So one is I'm having a building, I am the owner, but I will not manage the hotel. The hotel will be managed by the respective brand which I'm taking. So here it will be managed by somebody else hotel. So this way it could be one of the ways to work out. So these are two initial ways. Now coming to which kind of sector should I look? Now depending on what budget and scale I have. If I have very small budget, I don't have enough space, I have very limited small size, then I should never aim for five-star hotels because then I'll not be able to meet their criteria. Then I will aim for what? Then I will aim for budget hotels or let's say one day travelers. So let's say somebody is traveling from one city to another city, then I can make small. Now, assuming I'm a very big business group and I have lot of money with me, then what do you think? Shall I make only five-star hotels, or I should make brands of hotels. So let's say I'll make one segment, five-star segment. I'll say make one segment like backpackers. I'll make one segment like middle class, so where they can have get the luxury of staying in a hotel, but still not pricey. So shall I focus only on one class, or I should diversify? Okay, so Radhakrishnan also views and Samnata we should diversify. Okay, what is the benefit of diversification? Why should we do that? Why should we do that? So there are two models, two theories. One is, I'll give an example. Apple. Apple is diversified or single model? iPhone. It diversified or single model? It's single model, right? So that is one model. Samsung, single model or diversification? Samsung is single or diversification? So I'll give you two examples. One is Apple, which is a single model. Then another is Samsung, diversification. And both models are perfect. There is nothing right, nothing wrong. What you can sell that is better. Now, if I really want to have a footfall, I should always have a I should always have a diverse investments or diverse side of business. Now, why should I have a diverse set of business? Any logic apart from this, apart from the diverse set of business? That okay, I'll have footfall from each category. But then could be other benefit logic for having a diverse business? Any thoughts? The guy, the person who is into a backpacker category or a not high paying job capacity, will he ever become rich? He can ever become rich in future? Can he move from C category to B category, B to A? Will he rise the ladder up in his life? For sure he will. Now, if you have you heard the term catch them young? The term catch them young, that is, so let's say if I am going to any hotel brand which is offering me a backpackers or a budget hotel, and when my pocket capacity increases, when my spending habit increases, and if I could see a higher range in the same brand, I will prefer going to that brand because I'm connected to the brand. And that's why they say that give them at each level. So tomorrow, whenever their level goes up, they don't miss us. We'll be there in the next level also. Otherwise, if you don't give this, you will be out. So I'll give an example of multiple hotels in the industry, multiples, not only one, multiples. They work with a they work with the same concept. So I'll give you certain examples. I'm sure many of you would be knowing, but let me just to idea that what are the brands. So just to give an example of uh, take example of Marriott. So you all would have heard Marriott as one hotel. Then Marriott has multiple brands. So it has Ritz Carlton, one of the most expensive hotels. Then it has St. Regis. Then it has JW Marriott. Then it has Marriott. Then it has Courtyard. Then Fairfield. So this is for Marriott, let's say. Take example of, let's say, Accor Group. Now, this is a very classic example of Accor Group. Now, Accor Group has Raffles, one of the various premier luxury hotels. They have Fairmont, another luxurious hotel. Now, they also have mid-scale hotels like Sofitel, Pullman, Novotel, Mercure. Then they also have an hotel for budget-friendly expense like IBIS. I'm sure many of you would have heard IBIS, would have seen IBIS. So imagine a business who is owning one of the expensive hotels like the Raffles, Fairmont. They're also having a room which is a very nominal room of IBIS. So IBIS is one of the lowest category rooms in terms of hierarchy. Take example of another classic example of IHG. So do you all anybody remembers where did the marriage of uh, Katrina and Katrina marriage happened? Which place? Which hotel? Anybody remembers which hotel it got married? Anybody remembers that hotel's name? It is in Rajasthan. So one of the expensive hotels, the most premium luxury hotel was Six Sense Hotel. Six Sense, right? You remember Six Sense. So Six Sense is one of the most premium luxury hotels in the world, offered by IHG Group. Now IHG Group owns Six Sense Hotel, which is their one of the premier product. Then they also own Intercontinental Hotel. Then they also own Crown Plaza. Then they also own Holiday Inn. Then they also own, if you have heard, Holiday Inn Express. So Holiday Inn Express is a lower budget hotel, which is acceptable to pocket-friendly budget backpackers or budget class or working class who just go for a short day trip. So imagine the hotel group is keeping all sectors from one end, which is the highest end, to another end. Now, in luxury hotels, do the mindset is how to sell luxury hotel at a cheaper price, or the mindset is how to get more money by giving best experience from the management perspective? So let's say every management has to increase the sales. Do they talk about how to give you cheaper price? They never think of cheaper price. If they start thinking of cheaper price, they cannot achieve ever. There is always premium services. Now I'll give you an example. It's a real example of pricing war. So Rambagh Hotels, I'm sure many of you would have heard Rambagh. Rambagh Hotel is one of the premier hotels in Jaipur. Rambagh Hotel, owned by Taj Group. It's a heritage hotel by the King of Jaipur Palaces. It was converted into hotel. It's a very premier property. So I'm talking of 2007-8 year. At the time, it was the luxurious hotel in India. Its price was at the time. Its price was 7,000, 7,500 rupees per day. That was his price at that time, and it was used to be considered the most expensive price. Then Oberoi Group opened a hotel in Jaipur, and they said they take long years to make that hotel, and they say I want to make the most expensive hotel of India, and they made the hotel name is Rajvilas Hotel. You can search this and find this details more in detail if you go deep more. So they opened Rajvilas Hotel, and Mr. Oberoi said, I made the best product, best luxury, best facilities. Now, if you are Mr. Oberoi, what price you would keep, knowing that there is a best hotel in Jaipur of the India, which is charging 7,500. Any idea what price you will keep? Any vague thoughts? Any vague thoughts? Any vague thoughts how much price you will charge? Any any number you can think of? No, no, we are talking of at the time 6,000, 7,500 was the price. So minimum 20K. What is the rationale of 20K? How did you think of 20K? How do you think of 20K? Almost two and a half times, almost double, 2.25 luxury. So he actually put 20K. That was the price he put it. And everybody said, all advisors said, Mr. Oberoi, you have gone crazy. He was above 60. So they say, आप सठिया गए हो, आप 60 साल के बूढ़े हो चुके हो. You don't know how to market the price. Your price is exorbitant price. Nobody will come. And and the logic was, their logic was, they say when we have the best hotel at 6,000, 7,500, which is in the same city, why somebody will pay 20K to you and nobody will come? And they say this hotel will not run. This guy was adamant. He says, I'm giving the best luxury. I will not go less than 20K. And he was adamant. 6 months, hardly one or two guests came because only foreigners were coming, no Indian were coming. Very difficult to sell the hotel. 6 months, hardly one or two guests. You can imagine the property getting depleted. And everybody come and said, no, no, you should reduce the price. And he said, maybe the time is not right. I don't think I will reduce the price. I will continue the same price because this is what I feel. And then the luck favored him. And how did the luck favor? Bill Gates made a trip to India. and Jaipur was his tourist destination. Now imagine if Bill Gates is coming to India and the Bill Gates team need to book a hotel. Which hotel they would like to go for? 7,500 or 20K? They've not been to India ever, but still, if they need to book a hotel in Jaipur, which one they will choose? Obviously, 20K. Despite the Rajvilas had no brand name at the time, they have not, so their customer reviews are not much, right? Because there were hardly few customers have stayed. Rambagh, 100,000 millions of people have stayed in Rambagh, so their customer review was very high. But he said, because which is the most expensive suits our stature. Now, can you? So, if I'm a president of US, the most powerful country of the world, assuming, then I will not stay in a second category hotel. I will stay in the best hotel. So they booked entire 7 days. The entire hotel was under custody of US government, US embassies. So this was booked at 20,000 per night. Now, 1 month later, Sachin Tendulkar had to celebrate his birthday, and he chose in Jaipur. Now, where do you think Sachin Tendulkar will stay? Again, he went to the same 20K. And when a lot of people, celebrities started coming and staying, everybody, it becomes a fear of missing. That, okay, so there's something great we need to, should go. Then it becomes a status symbol. Now everybody started going to Rajvilas. And now you can search it, the most expensive hotel, you will find Rajvilas in the top three list of the world. So the point is, in luxury, you can't have a discounting mark mindset. You can't sell luxury, I'll give you cheap, then come. No, if you say I'll give cheap, these people, for them, money is a commodity. For them, they are not here to negotiate. They are here to spend their time effortlessly. So this is just a perspective. Now comes about, we are just talking a business random, then we'll come to the case study. Now let's say you all would have gone any hotel. I assume somebody would have at least visited any hotel, whether you would have gone to any five-star hotel, would have gone to any OYO hotel, would have gone to any mid-size hotel, or even any banquet hall, anywhere hotel would have gone. Now, if you really want to innovate in hotel industry, what will you innovate? Given a choice, you need to innovate. What innovation you think you can get it? Any quick thoughts? What innovation you can get it? And innovation is doing for sanitary stuff for sure. So that is something which is the first thing any company will look for. Sanitary is the first thing. Okay, that is one. So that is, and that is a must. So that's not a favor, that is a mandate, right? A customer will always say, this is my right to get a sanitary stuff. That is for sure. That is, you can use innovation. And now, have you ever seen a hotel where a robot is serving drinks, food? Have you seen a hotel? Anybody has ever seen? No, there are many in India, not one, many in India. Anybody has seen? Also, nobody has seen any hotel where robots are serving dishes. Okay, so there are many now. It's not, so the robots are very not expensive. So these are 6 lakhs rupees robot. They take it from China, and there is a fixed route where that every table robot will go. It's a fixed tray, and they comes and serve that. So that is happening. So that kind of machines robots. Now, because of these kind of innovations, kids keeps on coming back to the hotel because it is exciting for them to see how a robot is serving that. So these kind of innovations will always move on. Now, take example of the trouble in hotel. What we get is at the reception counter, check in, check out, right? If you ask me to wait for 10 minutes in check in, will my experience will be happy or I'll be frustrated? Forget 10 minutes, even 5 minutes make me uncomfortable, right? Do we agree? Frustrated. So then, what innovation could be? You can have a paperless innovation, paperless check-in, QR-based check-in, where a customer can start filling the detail on his mobile itself, get updated on the system, and so user interface you give him so that he don't need to stand in a line. Just like if you have seen, we have now orders counter for McDonald's. If you go to McDonald's, you don't need to stand in the queue. You can just give an order from the shelf nearby standing, where there is screen, you can punch yourself, order yourself, right? So these are the innovations you need to always think how to ensure that the customer experience is elevated. Like nowadays, there are rooms in Delhi, there are certain hotels in Delhi where you will not find any buttons. everything is done by remote control. So the light, the curtains, the fan, everything is by remote control on an iPad. So there's a Holiday Inn or Crown Plaza in Delhi. Everything is by iPad. So you don't need to search for anything. It is all iPad. So these are technology they are giving, and the people feel experience that okay, something is working good. So this is broadly on hotel industry, how hotel industry works. Then there are various challenges in hotel industry that we'll also go through. But first, understand the very basic case study which we have. So this case study is about Sartaj Hotels. Sartaj Hotels is Taj is a crown. So Sartaj Hotels is in a hospitality industry. They are having a dynamic and multifaceted sector, plays a pivotal role in global economy because when the tourism develops, hotel is one of the first thing every tourist will look for. Any country will only get revenue where and tourism gives a very good FCNR. Do we agree that we get lot of effects only because of foreigners coming in India? Do we agree? And will they come when there is no tourism, when there is no good hotels? So they will not come when there is no good hotels. They will only come when there are good hotels. So having a good hotel is mandatory, and that's why a lot of government they start giving a subsidy for making hotels. They give a lot of benefits, lot of advisories, lot of rebates when anybody is making hotel. Some way they will exempt stamp duty. Some way they will give you 10 years tax-free exemption. So depending on different sectors, different state, hotel gets a lot of leverage. So this company have a range of services including lodging, food and beverage, tourism, event management. Because if I am having a hotel, people naturally ask for food. So I need to give food and beverages. Then people may ask for tourism also that, okay, if I'm from hotel, they will say, tell me where I can go nearby if you have some plans. So that's why if you see all hotels keep certain tourism desk at their office so that people can take there and they can earn money from that vertical also. And then they do a lot of event management. So nowadays, all companies, MNCs, they do events. Now, if any company, let's say Infosys wants to do outing for their group, so they will go to a hotel, will they will organize the event, and that event management can be done from the hotel itself. So where they'll give the facilities of DJs, music, and event organizers. Now they understand that customer service and experience is only something which will keep them up because industry thrives on creating memorable and personalized experience for guests. Now, how does this can you give a personal experience? Either through luxurious accommodations or exceptional dining or unique recreation offerings. Now, luxurious accommodations are if you give them a stay in palace, people will always remember that okay, I stayed in this palace. And that's why you see a lot of hotels are being developed in old forts. Take example of Taj Palace Udaipur, Falaknuma Hyderabad, Rambagh Jaipur. You name a city, and wherever the industry is trying to convert the forts into hotel. This had Taj Mahal would not have been a seven wonders of the world. They might have opened Taj Hotel in Taj Mahal itself, but because it's a seven wonder, it is not allowed to do any construction there, any residential. Because with a history, people like history, and when you give them a chance, now think as a customer. If I tell you that, sir, this is the room where actually, let's say, uh, Maharaj Shivaji would have Chhatrapati Shivaji would have stayed, or uh, Maharani Gayatri Devi would have stayed, and you also get a chance to stay in the same room, will you get some royal feeling that okay, I'm staying in a place which royals used to live? Yes, no, maybe. Think from a customer point of view. Yes, no, maybe. Will you not? Or you say doesn't matter where I stay? Or psychologically, the experience of staying in a place where somebody legend would have stayed will give you a feeling. And you feel always royal that, okay, I'm getting a place where only royal family would have stayed. So I'm getting a chance to stay there. So these are the experience accommodations people will always like to capture. And that's why they do they do pricing. I'll give an example of exceptional dining. Now, normally, normally, how do you think you can have exceptional dining? If you are a hotelier, how do you think you can give me an exceptional dining? Any vague thoughts? Any vague thoughts? You are in total industry and you need to make my dining experience exceptionally very good. Just be creative as much as creative you can think could be. What do you think you can do if you really want to do exceptional dining? If you really want to do, what do you think you will do? One is ambience. Okay, that is ambience. So you'll make a very cozy ambience or very exotic ambience. That is one. Okay. What about making my great food traditional chef? Okay. What about giving me a dining at under the pool, surrounded by all waters? Will that make me dining exception? Where aquarium fishes are there, I'm inside, furniture, materials, specialized local cuisine. Okay. What would be your view if I give you a dining on a sky where I lift you up 50, 50 feet above the ground and serve you there? Will that? So skydining is a new craze. Skydining is in Bangalore, skydining is in Goa, skydining is in other parts of the world. And this is a crazy experience. People love to go for skydining because it is one of the event where you're hanging in the air and still getting served everything what is to serve downstairs. Think yourself in that way. Now, do you think if a hotel, so I'll give an example of Hyatt in Goa serves a skydining where they've made a platform, full platform surrounded by cables and the cable get lifted up. And that's why, so luckily, and that's a charm of being an auditor. Let me be very upfront. When you are in audit field, and luckily I got a chance to work with some of the best MNCs across the globe in hotels. So I have traveled a lot in all the hotels, and that's why I always say my luxury, my my one of the bucket list was to travel at many places, and audit made me do that. So that was perks of being an auditor at times, especially when you're auditing listed companies or banks. Then you need to go pan India and world also. So now coming to so being an auditor, I used to travel India and abroad. So that's why I got a chance to see. So this skydiving, I'll try to see in the meantime if I can share you the photo of my skydiving, so skydiving. So that will give you an idea that why I'm saying all this. So so customers who've been there once, they will always recommend the others, even though it is pricey. Even though it is pricey, they will say, okay, people get it there, and that is the reason why people try to innovate. Some of the other innovation you will start getting. I'll give an example of just to give an example. You all would have heard Namo Chai. Namo Chai, a new concept has came, Namo Chai, where now they are, or in Namo Chai you have a tandoori chai. So now they're making the cup itself when you are drinking, making it hot in the oven. So that's the kind of innovation they are doing. Because every time, so if you don't innovate yourself, if you don't innovate, you will be soon do not extinct in the market. So they are trying to give exceptional dining and unique recreational offerings. So I'll give an example of unique recreational offerings. Now this is how they fool the tourists. When I say fool the tourists, means they fool the foreigners. You all would have heard Jaisalmer. You all would have heard Jaisalmer. Jaisalmer, you all would have heard. Jaisalmer is in Rajasthan. And a lot of tourists comes in January, February. A lot of tourists comes in January, February. One of the biggest deserts in Rajasthan. And they sell the product like, we will make you stargazing night. Now, what is stargazing night? What do you think is a stargazing night? We will make you sleep on the sand with no tent on your head, no roof on your head. You just go and watch the stars. Now, do you think people will pay money just to sleep on the sand and watch the stars? Do you think? Do you really think people will pay money? They do pay a lot of money. Just search Jaisalmer rum. And that's what I'm saying. We can also see the star during sleeping. Why should we pay? But then they sell it like to the foreigners, because foreigners do not sleep in on the deserts and all. So for them, it's a unique experience. So now it's become a recreation offerings that, oh, we are giving also this. It's a free of cost. But this is how you practice, how you sell the package, stargazing activity. So it is how you sell the product. That's what make it happening. Take example of Mauritius. I'll give an example. In Mauritius or any island, all the five-star hotels you will find near the sea, ocean only, all five-star hotels. And then they all say, we'll give you infinity pool. So the ocean is always an infinity pool, right? Ocean never ends. But then they say it's an infinity pool. You can swim wherever you want. Do you think I'll go and swim in ocean? Probably limited time. I'll not go long, deep. Then they give you scuba and other things. So these recreation offerings will always get the customers come back. Now, challenge is always the challenge is the biggest challenge in the hotel industry is high job mobility. This challenge is not only in hotel industry, in all firms. Take example of audit firms also, or either people keep moving fast and nobody can control that. And it's a phenomena which will always work. Now, if my name has become very good in chef, as a chef, others brand will also poach me. They'll say, okay, he's giving you 16 lakh package, let me give you 24 lakh package. And then I will start moving. As a chef, I will look what makes more money to me because I'm selling my hours. And if I'm getting a better for selling my 24 hours, 70 hours a week, I'll take that offer. So the challenge here is job mobility and customer or consumer preferences are moving very sharp, very fastly. And I'll give you one listed company example. Anybody heard Barbecue Nation? Have you heard Barbecue Nation? Is that a listed company? Is that a listed company? It's a listed company. It's on exchange. It's a listed company. Earlier, its share price skyrocketed. It skyrocketed. But now it fell down deeply. Why it fell down deeply? And now, uh, do you think people will go Barbecue Nation every second day, every third day, regularly, or once in a while? Because barbecue nation model is they will serve you a platter, they will serve you barbecue on your table, and then after some time they will offer you a full course meal. Do you think you will go every day or every month, every weekend? Answer is no, because the customer will not like to eat the same product, same food every second time, because the customer preference changes and therefore their pricing got reduced substantially because people will not like to go these restaurants every time. So therefore the challenge is people changes shift. Hospitality industry is also going through advancement in technology. So as I mentioned, a lot of technology issues. Sustainability practice, this is something which is having a huge cost and huge impact on hotel industry. Now, I'm sure you all would have heard ESG, environment, social governance. This topic is the buzzword. And for next 10 years, this will be discussed in every theorem, every forum, every company you work for. ESG is a mandatory topic in all your work, whatever you do. Whether you are a manufacturing company, trading company, BPO, hotel, you all need to ensure that we work according to sustainability. Now, if you have gone to various hotels, you will always find a tag there that if you want to protect the nature, do not ask us to wash the linens every day. try to sustain the linens as long as you stay so that water can be saved. Have you seen this kind of tax where they say uh, save the earth by not wasting water, not asking us to refresh the linens again and again? So you'll find all hotels are doing that. And certain hotels have stopped giving plastic water bottles. They are giving bottles in glass bottles because of sustainability issues. So these issues are having a lot impact because because the hotel need to incur a lot of expenditure on sustainability. And why they need to incur? For example, now all hotels need to work on having solar panel because if they burn the fossil fuel electricity, it's a negative marking for that. So they all need to burn on sustainability. And it has a lot of impact. I'll show you a report of sustainability also that how it has a lot of impact on hotels. Now, Sartaj Hotels, which is the country's largest listed hospitality economy, it continues to demonstrate industry-leading growth with consistent conviction. It is reflected in exceptional financial and non-financial performance. So where his performance of financial is going continuously, they keep on portfolio expansion and scaling of new businesses. Company ensures that we need to take ESG initiative, sustainability commitment, and it try to create the value for all stakeholders. They are consistent from value and commitment. It has been 120 years in the industry to them. These are known for exclusive properties, flawless service, and distinctive brands. So I'll give an example of when I was an article and I was an article and I was along with my boss going for an audit in Calcutta, in Taj, Calcutta. So it was a bank audit. So I was an article and my boss was a signing partner. He took two articles with us along with him. So we both were in the same plane and we both were luckily staying in Taj hotels. My boss, because it was the last year of audit and my boss, I was the third year article. So he says, my team will also stay with me. And we were lucky to get the accommodation there. Unfortunately, all our luggages, all our bags were lost at Calcutta airport. It went to some other flight or some other way, so we did not got it. So the Air India at the time it was Air India. Air India said, "We will send next day to you." Now we all went to the hotel. We had no clothes and all. Everything was there in that bag. So the receptionist asked, "Sir, where are your luggages?" Because when three people are coming to the room, hotel, and say, "Okay, we want a booking," and all three had no luggage, it's a suspicious thing. So she said, "Sir, where is your luggage?" And then we need to tell our story that okay, we lost our luggage and all. And we went to room, and suddenly after 15 minutes in all our rooms, we got a pair of t-shirt, a pair of pajamas, a pair of shoes, slippers, all complimentary gifts given by Taj Group. And then we asked the reception for what? She said, "We saw you in pain that you have no clothes and all. So for your comfort, we are sending this." Now, do you think with this gesture, next time if I given a choice, will I choose Taj or I will look for any cheaper hotel? Given a choice, I have plenty of money. I will always look for a experience which they have made us because we understand that's a place where you go for. So this is something where you need to have a flawless service, distinctive brands, and brands become by experience only. So that's why they call Sir Tajness. That's something where unforgettable experience for guests. And not only in India, I'll give an example of Turkey. So I was with my family trip on Turkey, and I have 1 year old kid, and kids will not eat anything. It was only the milk they give. So and we were in Turkey, so we had nothing. When we were vegetarian, so we don't take anything else. And luckily, for some reason, kid was hungry, and we had no milk at the time. We could not find. So we told to the hotel guy, and he said, "I'll give you a milk in 10 minutes." He went outside, got a milk, and get it warm milk as per the kids. And they said it's complimentary milk for us. And then we said, "No, no, we'd like to pay." But they said, "No, no. For kids, we try to do whatever is complimentary." So now, whenever any of my friends plans a trip to Turkey, I say you can go and stay in this hotel. They gives you comfort of the customer. So you need to always give that what experience you give for guests. They will always remember that. Now, their company rooted values are rich legacy, provided the confidence to reimagine the future. You need to move with greater speed and synergy and ensure that delights to customer. Now, company evolved from, now this is a very important shift, which actually Taj is also, so I'm sure you all would have guessed now, from Sartaj, this is linked indirectly to Taj Hotels, right? So similar to some Taj. So the company has evolved from a branded house to a house of brands. Now, what do you mean by from a branded house to house of brand? So take example of West Side, right? We have West Side. What is another brand we have along with West Side of Tata's? Another brand of West Side. One is West Side. What is another brand? No, Pantaloon is not Tata's. One is West Side, which is another brand similar to West Side. Zudio, right? So West Side is a brand, Zudio is a brand. So we all know that you all know West Side is owned by Tata's Group, and Zudio is also owned by Tata's Group, right? We all aware. And Zara brand, have you heard Zara brand? Who owns Zara in India? Any idea who owns Zara brand in India? Any quick anybody aware? Who owns Zara brand in India? It is again by it is again by Tata's. So Zara is also by Tata's in India. Zudio is also by Tata's. Westside is also by Tata's. Now you can see they are a house of brands, and there are five, six more brands which are very expensive brands also owned by Tata's in India. Now again, the example of Zudio is Westside is for mid-sized people, middle class group. Uh, Zudio is for youngsters, for college-going students who don't need to think much on spending. They can spend that easily. And then higher version comes is Zara. So now, so this is a house of brands and multiple other brands, which is of foreign brands. Similarly, they are having multiple brands. So they have different hotels. One is budget hotels, one is expensive hotels, one is working hotels. So that people can choose, I need to choose luxury, upscale, lean lux segments, and budget stays hotel. Now imagine, think yourself, if you need to choose a hotel and you are only supposed to work, it's a work day trip. So you will reach tonight, and tomorrow morning you are going to check out and go for client meeting and head back to your hometown back, city back. At that time, will you, and if you need to pay from your money, will you look for expensive five-star hotel, or you say just I need to spend one night, you look for a comfortable, decent budget hotel, which is in all terms amenities and all cleanless hotel. What do you think you will choose? Even if you need to make a choice, you're comfortable, then you will not go for luxury five-star. But had you been traveling with your family, then you will always look for a luxury. If the budget affords, you will look for luxury. Then you will not say, I'll need to spend only one night in day, I need to go here and there. Then you will look for luxury. So depending on which, assuming money affordability is no question. So you look for customers have different choices, and you try to give all this under your umbrella so that customer does not go anywhere. So it's like a departmental store. You have a departmental store of hotels. You say which category you fit in, and I'll give you. And as I mentioned, hospitality ecosystem is only further strengthened by innovation and service excellence. So if you need to give innovation and service excellence to customer, apart from the stay, people will always remember the hotel foods, how the food service has been as an integral part of hotel business. You make a very good structure, but a bad food, will people come to stay? Certainly not. Some people go to hotels only because of their lavish buffet. Do we agree that at times you choose a hotel only because the kind of spread they are giving you in breakfast, the complimentary breakfast, the kind of spread they're giving you, or the buffet lunch or dinner they're giving you? Will that attract people at times? Yes, no, maybe. the kind of quantity you are giving, the kind of choices you are giving, the kind of options you are giving to them. So these are also an important factor. Now, food services provide guests with consumption, business-related functions, entertainment, celebrating events, and for some hotel foods act as an attraction in its own right. So as I mentioned, some hotels go with foods. So I'll give an example of Chef Sanjeev Kapoor. So Sanjeev Kapoor is famous for having in ITC his black lentils. He makes black dal, and the famous attraction is because he prepares that lentils, that dal, for 24 hours overnight, and that's the kind of time he puts to make the best dal, and that's why people come only to eat that in ITC Sheraton, ITC Maratha. So at times your hotel food act as an attraction. Now, how does the food service function in is ensured in hotels? So most hotels, especially 5 star and especially even 3 star or even a budget hotel also, they try to work on fresh produce because food is the most perishable nature, and if the weather is not supporting, it becomes fast perishable. So they try to have uh, food which is can be consumed on time, and this is the biggest challenge. And what is the biggest challenge in hotel industry? So there are the biggest challenge in hotel industry is, do I know how many people are going to come to my hotel today? Can I know how many people? Let's say I have a banquet bar, restaurant, open dine. Anybody can come and walk in. Can I know how many people will come, or I just need to make a guess? Past estimate can estimate. Estimate can go wrong also. It can be underestimated or can be overestimated. Correct? Can I? Is there a risk of underestimation or overestimation? There is a risk. So what is the drawback of overestimation? I will procure more food. My working capital gets stuck. Can I use that bread 2 days later, or it will be a stale bread or stale food? So it's a perishable issue. So if I order more and which high difference, I got a loss. Vice versa, if I underestimate, I expect only 10 people will come. So I ordered only food, milk item for 10 people. And then let's say 35 people came. So can I increase my quantity immediately to 25 people extra? No, I need to get people to order. There'll be a lag in delivery, lag in supply. So supply chain is also a biggest issue. How you manage that, that becomes a huge issue because then I need to give quality. The quality cannot be ensured immediately. And hotel foods are not designed to be stored for extended periods. So once prepared, they need to be consumed immediately. And that's why it is the challenge of how you manage the food part. Now, in food parts, there are two kind of models they use it: push production and pull production. That's the terminology they use. Push production means you have not been paid in advance at all. You don't know how many guests will come into your restaurant, bar, guest room, where food could be ordered on demand. You don't know that. So when you don't know that, it becomes a challenge because how much food need to be served, that is expectations. Whereas full production means where I know how many people are going to come. So let's say my hotel has been booked by your company and your company says we will come 30 people as a guest. So you need to make a prior booking of 30 people. And will I take advance or I will say only pay when you come? What do you think? When I'm booking a banquet for you, when I'm booking an auditorium, I'll take in advance because I don't want to lose other customers because of your non-absence. So I'll take in advance. So pull production is where I know how many people are going to come. So I will prepare food for at least 30. When I know 30 people have paid money to me, I will ensure I make food for 30. Now, out of 30, 25 eat. If I do not eat, that's not my problem because I've been paid for 30 people. So full production means where I know how many people are going to come. They've been reserved in advance with specific details, number of attendees, types of food, veg, non-veg, what is the quantity, and the venue. And I always take money in advance, partly or full. So generally, they take 90% advance generally in any hotel. It's a standard practice before the event. They say before the event you need to pay, because after the event you may start behaving nasty that food was not good, blah blah blah. I'm not going to give you. So you need to give a security check mandatory before you take. Some hotels are very strict. They don't give you a credit. Some hotels give you a credit depending on your relationship, depending on the size of event you're doing. That way they can do that. Now, so this is the model of generally push and pull, which is generally worked in a hotel industry. That just to give you an idea how it works. Now, now when it comes to food sourcing, so when we talk of food sourcing means how to get those foods. So it is so between push and pull, push is always a greater challenge due to uncertainty, because I don't know, you don't know how many people will come. So it is always based on estimate. An estimate is based on past. So you can always make a best estimate that, okay, on weekends, my number of customers will be 100 generally. On weekdays, it is 40, 50. So based on that, you make an estimate. But as I said again, your estimate can go wrong, which nobody can guarantee. On a pull production, there is no risk, because in a pull production, it's a straightforward. You know how many people are going to come, so you know the type and quantity to source. So that way you know. Now, in most of the hotels, the head chef works as a creator, memory, and processor. Now, what does a head chef says? He always plays a crucial role in supply chain, starting from product development through the production stage. He would know that head chef can influence supply chain activities based on the configuration of total food service supply chain. Like for example, if I am a particular hotel and I sell one special product. So I'll also ensure, let's say I'm selling mango dishes are famous in my hotel. So I will always ensure that quantity and quality of mango is not compromised. So this is the signature dish. So I'll always try to get the best quantity and quality of mango. It is shaped by organizational structures. Now, head chef is a valuable resource for expertise and knowledge necessary for smooth operation, because he knows the production plant, which is the kitchen and all related activity. In a hotel, kitchen is the like your factory. Kitchen is your plant and machinery. So you need to ensure that how to order, when to order. So he tried to act as a creator, memory keeper, and processor who see production. They are responsible for key management areas beyond production, such as purchasing and inventory management. So whenever any new item is bought, they need to take the approval of head chef. Head chef will tell you how much money to get, not to get. Head chef act as a creator starting from writing the menu. He ensures that whatever menu they try to put in. Again, you make menu based on your respective city, respective area. And you need to always ensure that if my brand is North Indian, I may not be successful in getting higher South Indian customers and vice versa. If I open a Sarvana Bhavan and I say I'll sell Chola Bhatura in that, may not work for it. If I open Kake the Kulche and I say I'll send you Idli Dosa, may not work that. So you need to always see which brand you are using to sell. Based on that, you need to be intuitive. Menu always serves as a product offering and function of achieve target gross profit. Now, if you if you observe whenever you go for lunch or dinner, whenever you go for lunch or dinner, just observe your bill next time. What do you think? Which bill cost you more? The food bill cost you more, or the drinks you take like shakes, like Oreo shake, chocolate shake, vanilla shake, peach shake, whatever shake you take more? Which cost more? Is it the food item which you're eating, or it is the shakes that bill is more when in terms of it is always the shakes. Food are much cheaper item. Shakes are most expensive. Just try to see any hotel. And now you tell me in shakes, their cost is high in making shakes or virgin mojito or fresh lime soda. Their costs are higher, costs are very, very negligible and nominal cost in terms of making. Cost is very, very nominal. And I'll give you a figure of cost to give you an idea very shortly. Once I take you one of the listed company balance sheet on how much is the costing coming, you'll be blown away by seeing that. So this is how they look for how they make menus so interesting that people can to where the profit can come. Uh, Frequency of menu changes based on chef judgment rather than a fixed schedule. In many hotel companies, if some item is not very going or there's a new item coming, chef will add. I'll give an example of kunafa shakes, kunafa chocolates, right? Was there a craze in some point of time in the name of kunafa? Was there a craze of kunafa product at all places? Have you seen that kunafa craze? The way kunafa chocolates and all, everybody was coming with kunafa products. Hotels also started making kunafa chocolates, kunafa toffees, kunafa sweets in their product. So they need to evolve. They say, okay, this area is moving up fast. Let us start milking the cow in that area. So they make it. Now, the most important area of inventory management is known as guessing game. Head chef knowledge and experience are crucial for managing hotel supply. He knows how much inventory I needed exactly. Common practice in a stock level known as reserves. So there are two ways: is a minimum order quantity level or run out and replace strategy, where you replenish stocks when it is low. This I'm sure you all would have gone through in costing chapter, where the costing was taught how to order, when to order. Hotel that offer foods round the clock must have food in stock. So if you are 24 by 7 restaurant, you need to have food in stock always. Because if raw materials are available in the market and deliveries are delayed, hotel cannot afford to say customer, I can't serve this. Because customer is here to have food. If you say I don't have food, he will not be happy to come back again. So you need to keep a minimum certain level of quantity in office to avoid any such issues later on. Once the inventory level drops below the guest by head of chef, order is placed to minimum level. Some use hotel call it lean strategy, which involves running out of stock, then ordering more. And some people make minimum stock level at all times. Now, they need to always do a collaboration with suppliers because ultimately supplier is going to give. You can't have all in-house. They play a crucial role in providing raw materials. Sartaj hotels also have menu suppliers in their menus and brochures to add value and differentiate their product offerings from competitors. Now, if I write that this milk is taken from organic, this organic any cow shelter I gave you, will that give more value addition than just local source food? So if you can mention the supplier, if your supplier is high brand, you can always mention it. It is like when we as a CA firm send our proposal, we put the name of clients in our uh, pitch deck, right? That these are the clients we have worked with. So customer gets comfort. Similarly, if you tell where are you sourcing, it gets comfort. They maintain traditional arm length distance and long-term cooperative relations with suppliers. Because if you need to grow in business, you need to ensure suppliers are happy. So take example of suppliers are very important because the quality of food they give will impact your entire product delivery. I'll give an example of McDonald's. If you have a if you franchise McDonald's, it's a small kind of break large and service. Small or large thick break. Because you get potatoes of every size, right? Generally. Is the voice a issue? Okay. Okay. So my question was when you go to McDonald's and eat French fries, you see the potato would be a normal potatoes or uh, thick, big potatoes. You will always see. So when you go to McDonald's and eat French fries, what kind of potatoes you think they would be using? Any ordinary potatoes or specific quantity, specific specification, specific size potato they use? Can they use small potatoes? Will your French fries will be big if they use small potatoes? Or they have to use big potatoes only, specific size, mandatory. Otherwise, you will not get this. So you order the same size of French fries every time you go there. Same standard French fries every time you go there. Generally, does that so? And that is what is brand. And the brand is I will get the same experience again and again wherever I come. That's what the commitment and continuity. And why do they get the same size? Because they have hired various agriculture farms and they have signed a lock-in period of 9 years, 10 years on that farm, that those suppliers will only grow their potato with only the seeds they give so that the product will come exactly what McDonald's want. It is not at the choice of the farmer, it is at the choice of the consumer, which is the McDonald's. So they need to maintain a good relationship with suppliers, and for that, you need to ensure a good trust. Taj food service outlets leverage fresh produce and their supplier partners as the key selling points. Company highlights collaboration with local suppliers. This is basics. Now, how does they order food or how does they ensure? So lower material costs are constantly pursued, mainly for dry goods. Prices are compared for various suppliers, with the cheapest option being selected. So there is a process of getting two, three tenders, two, three quotations, and then give a buy order. They use a track sheet to track the prices, select the best deals from different suppliers, which sees an advantage that hotel can buy the lowest price. And every job of the finance function is or the purchase guys to buy at the cheapest price. Apart from competing on the price, they always keep two suppliers. It is always mandatory to have two suppliers product mandatory. Any idea why two suppliers are mandatory? Any idea why two suppliers? Any idea? Why do always I need to depend on two suppliers? Because if for something one betrays or something one shutdowns or some issue happened at one supplier, your business will not suffer. And that exactly happened in COVID. So what happened in COVID? Entire world was making China as their manufacturing plant. Entire world. So everybody has invested a lot in China. And when the COVID happened and for months China did not operate it, their supply chain got impacted badly. And then they realized they cannot depend only on one geography, one country. So then they started moving to India for setting up plant. And that's why Tesla came to India. And that's why many others, Apple came to India. Many others started coming to India because they say we will not depend on one country. Because if something goes wrong in one country, entire business get impacted and they can't lose a business. So therefore, they always keep two supplier strategy so that uh, if you try to increase prices or maintain quality issue, you will be thrown out. So technology is something which is not used heavily in the company. The IT is minimal, high degree of manual based supply chain activity. So this supply chain activity is manual based on pen and paper, which is the primary tool used for product planning. Although Sartaj hotels use electronic data for suppliers, it is only for basic placing orders. Hotel do not retain point of sale data, do not share information with suppliers, which is not there. How much information you give to supplier that is not available. Demand forecasting for business volume is supported, can be supported by a computer program, but forecasting is based on guessing game. So it has not been documented. Additionally, stock checking for raw materials is performed manually by physical counting inventory items. Some large hotel online ordering channels rely on telecommunication for placing orders. Here, orders are always on phone, and that way you check whether you have the product or not before accepting the orders. Some hotels apply demand forecasting so that they can estimate overall value of food required by guests due to push production, but due to the uncertainty how much will come, that cannot be controlled. They have an in-house activity. Now, in-house production facility has many benefits. I can always have an in-house activity for having food. I'll give you certain examples. You go and visit any good hotel and you will observe the sweets they make in-house or they purchase it from some other local shopkeeper in that city. Generally, I'm talking especially of five-star hotels. You go to any five-star hotel, what do you think? They will make the sweets in-house, let's say rasgulla, kaju katli, or they will go and buy it from local famous shopkeeper there. Generally, what do you think you do? Generally, they always outsource. So when it comes to sweet dish and all, they always outsource because preparing sweet dish, costing sweet dish is expensive. This can be easily ordered by seeing the number of push productions we have. Because having in-house will have significant investments in terms of land, labor, capital. You need to have infrastructure, equipment, and a skilled labor. And what is the risk of skilled labor? What is the risk of skilled labor? If that guy leaves, you need to again hunt for that same skilled labor. Will that shop move away or will the shop remain the shop? The shop will remain the shop, right? If there is a brand shop, it will like if you go to Haldiram, take for example, irrespective of how many staff Haldiram moves, you will get your same rasgulla intact, the same quality. So that's why these are the challenges of having in-house. So they try to see which model it works on. Now, few years ago, they appointed Mr. Ramakrishnan as a company secretary, recognizing his extensive experience in hotel industry and handling regulatory compliance. At that time, his salary hike was between 15 to 25 of CTC. His performance has been very good, and he has been promoted and he has been given various compliances issue in different positions. Now, during the audit planning meeting, so this company need to get audit, and in the audit planning meeting, auditor was informed that the entity generates majority revenue in cash sales. Total revenue is 1,000 crores. KMP, KMPs and senior management face intense pressure to meet financial targets set by investors, and remuneration is based on achieving performance targets. Internal auditor assessed the internal control system and did not observe any deficiency in the revenue recognition process. Based on this assessment, the stat auditor concluded revenue is not susceptible to fraud and accordingly do not associate any fraud risk with the revenue audit strategy. Now, do you see this is fine or you see a risk in it? What is your view? Why do you think it is not right? What is the logic of saying it is not right? What is the rationale of being not right? How do you challenge the auditor's view that he thinks that internal auditor has said everything is right? So how can you say it is not right? What could be your argument? What do you think could be the argument of saying it is not? Okay, you cannot rely upon internal auditor. You need to reassess. Okay, you should reassess. That's fair point. His independence. Okay, this is the point exactly. Because there's intense pressure on KMPs. Now, if you tell me that Sumit, I will give you bonus only when you achieve a sales of 1,000 crore plus, then what do you think? Can I do a extra sale on the year end just to get the number? Bogus sale, which I can do a sales return in April. Can I do that? Yes, no, maybe. If my target is that you should get I will get bonus only when I cross 1,000 crores. Can I do a bogus sale on 31st March and get it sales return on next month? Possible? Always possible. So I can always get a bills, etc. I can tell my friends in other industry, you just give me a buy order now. Later on, you cancel. So I want to block a revenue of 1,000 crore. So where there is a pressure, when you know that there is a targets have given, there's always a risk of fraud on revenue. Always, you cannot ignore it. And this is a fraud risk factor you need to always put in the report. You cannot ignore it. And so there is one risk which is always there. One risk is always there, and that is management override of controls. Whatever controls you make, can the CEO bypass those controls? Whatever controls you make, can the CEO bypass those controls? He can always, because he always have the upper hand. He always has the veto power. He can always say, okay, I need this for whatever person he needs, whatever purpose he says I need it. So that will become always a challenge for us. Top authority can always break the law if they want to break the law. So therefore, there is always a huge risk which auditor should have considered. Now, Sartaj has a policy of providing loans to employees at 5% annual interest rate. The amount need to be paid on 5 equal installments. The market rate of interest is 10%, but we are providing at 5%. On 25th April, 1st April 25, employee took a loan of, he took a loan of, just a second, 10 lakh rupees, and he put a EMI of 2.31. Sartaj recognized the financial assets as of 10 lakhs on 1st April 25, accrued interest of 5% every year, and started receiving the EMI payments. The auditor raised a concern on accounting treatment appointed by the entity for recognizing these financial assets. How do you think? Just a second. No worries. Thank you. So even your participating by chat, that is sufficient. If you like to speak, I'll be happy to, once your mic functions, you can speak. Now, just a second, where were we? Just a second. Okay. So now the audit has raised a concern on accounting. So apart from India's accounting, where do you think this would have impacted? Apart from India's accounting, where do you think this could impact? Apart from India's, apart from India's, where do you think it could impact? Forget India's for the time being. Income tax. And how in income tax? So let's say in the market, the interest rate is 10%, let's say. And in I've given you a 2%. So how does the income tax come in? Which section, which object, it will be treated as perquisites, right? Up to 20,000 rupees interest, it will not be counted for, it will be exempted up to 20,000 rupees. Above 20,000 rupees, it will be a perquisites. So that will be need to taken care of in income tax. Now, regarding accounting FS, we'll discuss later. Now, we'll take a short break of 10 minutes and then resume at 8:05. Okay, let us resume at 8:05. So welcome back. Now we'll start with where we have left. So we discussed that when we give a loan at a lower rate, apart from the Ind AS issue, IFRS issue, accounting issue, I will also have an income tax issue. So that part we always need to advise when we advise this kind of policies in a company, what will happen. So this, just, so the auditor said, I will communicate with the audit committee all these issues. Regular and open communication fosters a culture of delivery and transparency. Trust is crucial for auditors to perform their duties without obstruction and governance to have confidence in audit process. Now, is the communication mandatory with audit committee or it is not mandatory? Now it is mandatory. All listed companies need to auditors. This year onwards, SEBI has made mandate that now you need to submit a written presentation to the audit committee on all the audit issues you have faced. You need to communicate to them. Earlier, it was only verbal communication people used to rely. Now you need to send a authenticated document to publish in the meeting. Now, Sartaj has a subsidiary, Black Pearl LLC. Now, under the FEMA overseas investments, they need to file APR. APR is annual performance report. So any company who make investments abroad need to file APR report every year to RBI. APR is a part of compliance framework that investments are monitored and reported accurately. But now this APR of Black Pearl LLC, can it be signed, can it be submitted on the basis of unaudited financials or it has to be only audited financials? What do you think? It has to be only audited financials. Okay. What if if I am holding only 5%? So my question is, we need to file an APR, annual performance report, right? This APR I need to file because Sartaj has made an investment in overseas subsidiary. So subsidiary definition is how much minimum I should have? Subsidiary definition is more than 50%. More than 50%. Even if it's 50.5, more than 50% I should have, then only it becomes my subsidiary. 50.5 also will make subsidiary, right? Because then I have a controlling power. So greater than 50% I will have. So I have an overseas subsidiary. It might be 50 to 100% I may have it. Now I need to file an APR, annual performance report, every year to RBI. Now this report I need to file on the basis of audited financial or unaudited can also be filed. What is your view? Audited. Okay. Assume I have only 5% investment. Assume I have only 5% investment in that. Then can I insist the Black Pearl LLC for getting an audit done? Or then I can file on the basis of unaudited data available? Then I can find on the basis of unaudited. And what will happen if the country in which I am having the subsidiary audit is not mandatory there? Then what will happen? Audit is not mandatory there. Then what should I do? Okay. Do we have countries where audit is not mandatory? Do you really think? Is audit, do you think audit is, classic example is America. In USA, audit is not mandatory. It is at your choice you want to get audited or not. If you are a sole proprietor, you may have $1 million business. If you don't want to get audit, don't get it audit done. It's your choice. In some places, in some sense, India is far, far advanced in terms of technology and data. I'll give an example. Can you find audited financial of any company in India, even if the company is not willing to share to you? Can you find that? You all can go to MCA, pay 100 rupees and download the data, right? It is possible. Just try to Google any company's data in USA. There is no such data like this where you cannot get it because it is not compulsory to get audit. So that if it is not compulsory to get audit, company will not upload the data, so you'll never get it. So that's a very challenge. So what does this API rule says? FEMA rule says where there is no audit mandatory, then you can go on unaudited financial. Where there is audit mandatory and you are subsidiary, then you have to go on audited because you can always command control on those companies. That is mandatory. Now, what kind of portfolio Sartaj has? So they made four kinds of portfolio. So they made one hotel, King's Corner, one Hocus Pocus, one Stories, one Silverline, different brands they're opening. So these are house of brands. Now this is premium furnishing, which having a revenue of 936 crores. It has 110 hotels and 17,000 keys. 17,000 keys means, what does 17,000 keys means? It means number of rooms total they have to be sellable rooms. Hocus Pocus, Agile Upscale Hotels, again 195 crore revenue with 96 hotels. Stories, Simply Better, Simply Functional, 48 crore revenues with 91 hotels. Silverline, Organic Spa Treatments, Nature Immersion Activities, 90 crores revenue, 8 hotels. Now, have you seen? So now you see that premium product only 110 hotels and revenue is 936. Agile Upscale Hotel 96 hotels, revenue 195. Not much difference, but the in number of hotels. But if you see the revenue part, dim. Now, if you have heard, there are various resorts have happened where special these resorts are based on organic vegetables or organic treatments or Kerala massage or Kerala Ayurved treatment centers. You know, there are certain mud treatment centers where you just go and stay and organic. So these are huge. These are a premium product now. And people, not only premium product, there are, so take example of Patanjali also. Take example of Patanjali. So if you go to Patanjali, there are Patanjali ashrams in Haridwar and other Rishikesh and Bangalore also, where they give you exactly Ayurvedic or mud bath or mud sauna and everything. So people go there and get a different, it's for a healthy nature and all. And they go and get a different vibes. So they have taken different four brands. We already discussed the concept why four brands are important. So for each sector, each market segment, I have something to sell. Now they need to give a details of under section 197 of employees particulars that how much we are paying salary. So whatever salary they have paid in 25 as compared to 24, they will give details. Chandrasekhar is a director. Then Krishna, Srinath, various directors. These are non-executive directors. Then I have executive directors. And then whatever salary we have paid, that we mention there. Now, someone who has not taken salary for whatever reason, you mention it. So we mention all the details, which salary they are taking, why they are taking, that we need to mention. Now, we'll take question answers to understand very basics. This question we discussed whether the engagement partner is correct in claiming presumptive risk of revenue recognition. his view is that risk of fraud do not exist or risk of fraud exist. So we discussed that risk of fraud exists in revenue. Remuneration based on achievement of performance target can incentivize employees to manipulate revenue. Greater risk of fraud exists in cash sales. Whenever you go for audit, whenever you go for audit, always see the last month sales of March from 15th March to 30th of March, 31st of March. These last 15 days sales, mandatory watch. And then also see in next 3 months, does the reversal happens or not? Because if the reversal happens, you will come to know these are fake sales. These are fabricated to just increase the revenue. Why I will increase the revenue apart from getting incentive? Any other ways to increase revenue? Why should I increase the revenue? Apart from incentive. At times, bank gives you loan on the basis of achieving certain number of turnovers. So people increase their turnovers either just to get the good loan, good books in the bank, because bank has certain criteria. So you become into A-rated category. So always ensure when you do audit, are you able to see the revenue reversal in next 3 months? That could be a huge issue. Did anybody ever encounter these kind of things? This happens a lot in FMCG products. This happens a lot in white goods products. Say, for example, I need to increase my sale of washing machines or TVs. So what the company will do, I am the marketing sales head of LG, let's say, LG or Videocon or Onida. Okay. They will tell to a dealer that, look, help me out. Just give me an order of 100 TVs or 100 fridges. Give me an order. I will issue a sales order to you. Do not pay me. Do not do anything. Just give me an order, book a sale. So as on 31st March, I can record a sale to you and I will not deliver the products. And 2nd of April, you can say that now you don't need a product. You need to cancel the note. So this kind of forgery happens a lot. It is like pumping and dumping. You pump the value to get a higher turnover for bank limits and all. So that should not be done. Now the option of should Sartaj obtain audited financials of Black Pearl LLC while filing his APR? Now the options could be filing of APR can be only on audited financials, or it can be on reviewed financials, or it can be based on unaudited since the law do not provide for mandatory audit, or it should be based on audited financials since Taj controls bulk Black Pearl. What do you think? So it is option D because we control it, so we need to get it audit mandatory. Now, I have given a loan to employ. Will that come under section 185 or 186? What is your view? If you give a loan to employ, will that come in section 185, 186? So it will not cover because 185 do not talk about employees. Have you given a loan to directors, related parties, then 185 attracts or 186 attracts. But if you are given to employee, it does not come in picture. So that way it is fine. What is the logic of having different brands according to you? King's Corner, Hocus Pocus, Story Silverline, increase operational efficiency, focus high-end customers, minimize investments, or to target different customer segments by offering variety of experiences ranging from luxury to budget accommodation. And that's why you can target different customer segments. Now, what do you think is not required to be presented in section 197? Like, do I need to give particulars of employee as on 31st March? How much percentage increase in remuneration? So the question is asking which of the following is not in line? Percentage increase in remuneration of director, percentage increase in remuneration of company secretary, ratio of remuneration of CFO to total companies, or affirmation that remuneration is as per remuneration policy. Which one you think is not in line as required by 197? Which option you think? I'll take its respective answers where we discuss. So risk of fraud we discussed. Filing is mandatory. Loan is not required. Loan does not come under 185 to employees. Now option D was to target customers. Fifth point is clause 1, second, and fourth. These are not in line. So what I need to disclose? I need to disclose number of permanent employees. I don't need to disclose all employees. Whatever is on 31st March, permanent employees need to be disclosed. Percentage increase in median years should be for entire financial years, not only for 6 months. That I need to enclose. The percentage increase in remuneration of company secretaries also to be disclosed. So this is to be ensured. Now, can you take pen and paper or Excel and tell me how do you account for that IFRS impact? Loan of 10 lakhs given at 5%. Market rate is market rate is 10%. I am getting 2.31 lakhs every year from the customer, from their staff. How do you think it could be? So I'll open an Excel if you can guide me on what to do. So we'll do as you say. So let me open an Excel and I'll understand from you. Just a second, let me share some details. I'm sharing Excel and you tell me how the treatment will happen. You are now accountant of that company. Now you tell me what will you do? So we have given a loan of 10 lakh rupees. So it is a 10 lakh rupees loan you have given, right? And you have given at the rate of you have given at the rate of 5%. You have given at the rate of 5%. Market rate is 10%. If I would have given to anybody in the market, I would have given it 10%. Loan is given for period is 5 years. 2.31 lakhs is EMI. Just a second. So EMI is okay. So what entries will do? Cash, credit back. Just a minute. Let me see this entry. Will that be right? Not right? Okay. Did everybody else got the? Rather you calculated this yourself, or you checked it from the case study. Honestly, tell me. You calculate this yourself? If yes, then I'm happy. No, no, I trust on you. No, no, rather I trust on my students. I trust on my participants. No, if you have done that's why I was saying. If you did it yourself, I'm more than happy. Even if you have not done yourself, I'm just giving you a worst case scenario. Then still you attempted it. answer wherever you get it. Ultimately, in the exam, you need to figure it out, right? So you tried, it's good. Did anybody else able to get the answer how Radha's got? So appreciate Radha for efforts. Anybody able to get the answer? Did we get 875 to 672? Because normally, if you don't know Ind AS, you will not be able to understand this equation in exam. A lot of people miss this. And when I say need to understand, once you become CA, some people might go into audit side, some people might go to industry side. Correct? Some people will go to industry side. Now, if I'm going to industry side and I don't know Ind AS, I will say, oh, what happens? Just book 10 lakhs financial assets. It's a issue, no issue at all. But then that will not be a right thing at all. Because as an CA, as an accountant, I should know Ind AS 109 very well. It will not go under employee benefit because Ind AS 19 will only take you to Ind AS 19 will only take you to actuaries and other leave gratuities and all. This will be coming from Ind AS 109. So what does 109 will say? You have given a loan of 10 lakh rupees, which is not the worth 10 lakh. Why it is not the worth 10 lakh? Because if I would have given into market at 10%, my answer would have been different. You have given me only 10 lakh, 8%, 5%. So I caused. So now what will happen? So do we all agree the number is fine? Everybody else is okay? How we get this number? Anybody is not clear? How do we get this number? Anybody not clear? Then we can take it further. If we all are clear how to get this number, then we'll move ahead. I need your quick revert. Is anybody okay? Now, if all are clear, then answer me. How do we treat this 124 staff expense, prepaid staff expense? How do you will treat that? What will be its treatment? Any thoughts? How we will treat that? So, what will be the entry? Radha has given you one entry. What would be the second entry you think? I got one entry. Loan to employees, FA 875, prepaid employee benefit expense. So you will book in one shot or you will amortize it over period of loan. What will you do? So I need to write off over period of loan. So if my loan is for 5 years, this 124 will be staggered written off every one fifth every year. So that way you need to keep in mind. That way how you need to solve the problem in exam. Okay. So Ind AS 109 is very, very complicated in terms of you need to know various principles in Ind AS 109. Now, say for example, uh, so Tata Taj Group, take example of Sartaj. So Sartaj has five subsidiaries. Sartaj is holding company and Sartaj has five subsidiaries, A, B, C, D, E. To one of the subsidiary, Sartaj has given a corporate guarantee that if the company defaults, I'll pay you. Right? Sartaj has given corporate guarantee. Now, how do you treat that corporate guarantee? So, holding company has given a corporate guarantee for a subsidiary. Ind AS 109, how will you treat it? Any thoughts? You have given a corporate guarantee. Sartaj is a holding company. Hocus Pocus is their subsidiary company. Assuming it's a subsidiary company, Sartaj has given a guarantee. A holding company has given a corporate guarantee, a bank guarantee to the bank that if Hocus Pocus do not pay the loan, we will fund that loan. So Hocus Pocus, your subsidiary has taken a loan from a bank. A corporate guarantee has been given by parent company to holding company to subsidiary. What do you think a treatment will happen on this transaction? Generally, are we clear on the with the question? And how will you incorporate it? What will you show? Do you charge money from Giving corporate guarantee to subsidiary, do we charge money? So if you charge money, then that's the best thing. Then you don't need to do any accounting if you charge money. But generally, we will never charge money from our subsidiary company, generally. And I've never seen any company charging money from subsidiary. So then I need to record as a investment in subsidiary. Whatever the value of corporate guarantee is coming, that fair value I need to record as investment in subsidiary. What will happen vice versa? If subsidiary has given a corporate guarantee for a holding company, that can also happen. It can happen or it can't happen. A subsidiary can give guarantee for a loan of corporate holding company, then it will be treated as a dividend. Then subsidiary will show as a dividend to a corporate holding company. Subsidy cannot have a capital contribution, vice versa, right? So we need to know the Ind AS 109. How does it happen in an interest-free loan, non-interest-free loan? That part we need to keep in mind. Now the last part from that part is, just a second. So we discussed this cash flows. I'm sure you all would have got this accounting. How we would have done 8.76 to 1.24 lakhs and rounding of numbers. And you need to amortize this 1.24 over the period of, as per Ind AS 109, amortize this over the period of tenure of loan. That you need to do. Now, last question, which is the longest question in this. Your comments on supply chain. Identify the weaknesses in supply chain and recommendation to overcome them. So think, and we understand supply chain in whatever you do is very important. So take example of CA firm. In CA firm, what is the supply chain? What do you think is the supply chain in CA firm? Articles. Absolutely, it's articles. Because if the articles do not come, will we get new CS? Will we get new CS? Probably no, right? If I don't get new CAs, the ecosystem will not work, right? So I need to have that ecosystem, because the young blood does not come into the practice or in the profession does not survive. Any profession will only survive on the young blood who is coming in the industry or practice, wherever you take. So having a supply chain is very important. That's why it is promoted from class 11th onwards, 12th onwards, so that people know what is CA, they know the course, and they start moving towards it. Similarly, if you talk about hotel industry, whatever supply chain specific of Sartaj you have seen, you would have identified its current weaknesses. Any thoughts? What are the weaknesses and how you can overcome that? Any assumptions you have? Anything you can think of? Weakness of push and pull, skilled labor. But skilled labor will not come to supply chain. So when we say of products, supply chain is of labor. So if you take off skilled labor, let's say even if you take a skilled labor, how can I how can I get a skilled labor's issues resolved? How can I get labor resolved? So I'll give you an example how to resolve skilled labor. You all would have heard of Gift City. Gift City. Have you all heard of Gift City in Gujarat, in Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar? Okay. So Gift City is a new concept in India. Oh, you're from there only. Okay. I've been to Gift City last month by ICAI tour. Okay. So one of the wonderful city to at least visit to understand the concept. So what was the problem in Gift City? People all were putting investments there. Do you think it was easy to find resources for the jobs which we are putting? Was it okay to find, is it easy to get respective resources? So let's say I'm putting a BPO center for fund accounting. Okay, there's an accounting company in Gift City. Do you think it will be very easy for me to get graduates or people who are into fund industry in that Gandhinagar area, Ahmedabad? It's not easily available. Not in that city. Okay. If I want to have a sustainable staff, sustainable long-term staff, will I prefer he's coming from outside the state and stay here, or I prefer somebody from that local nearby Gandhinagar? What do you think? I'll prefer local so that he has no choice to leave. Let's say if I'm from Jaipur and if I give a good offer at Gandhinagar, sometime I will long back to come back home. Agree? Sometime back I will say, okay, let me move back to my home city nearby with my parents. So I may leave that job. So that will create a vacuum. But if I am from Gandhinagar only, where I will go if I'm getting a good environment, I will never leave that organization. So what they did, they went to all the colleges nearby and told the colleges, I will give you our curriculum, what kind of skills we need. You teach those skills in last 3 months of the semester. So they gave the module that, okay, we want people to know what is fund accounting, what is NAP, how do we compute back office, front office, various basic things which they expect from a graduate. Now, if you are doing a BCom in any of the college nearby Gift City and they taught you all this, now will you have an interest towards fund accounting? You will get some inclination towards fund accounting. When you have done your BCom quickly and I give you a good salary job, will you quickly jump in? You will quickly jump in. And that's the way they meet the demand and supply issue sorted out. So if the skilled labor is an issue, you need to go and give training. So there are two things in life. Either you keep cribbing and complaining. Oh, गिफ्ट सिटी में कुछ नहीं मिलता, छोटा सा शहर है, how can I get people? It is worth waste of time. So that could be first. So no, training costs would be always expensive for sure. But then the results are far better and superior if you terms of sustainable results. So one is you keep cribbing that, okay, this place is a problem, this place that is cribbing. That mindset will never lead you on the top. Second way is you realize the problem. Yes, there is a problem in that city. Gift city is developing new. You might not have enough skilled manpowers. So what do you need to do? You develop the ecosystem. You make that skills required in colleges because colleges are the one who train people, and then it is a cheaper because then college is getting free trainers, so they don't mind spending that. So that way you need to keep in mind. So what are the challenges in this supply chain was the first challenge was he using uh, technology or he was using guessing state work? What he was doing guessing work. It was all depending on his common sense, his judgment. He have no data tracking record. He has no historical information. I can make forecast only better. So let's say if I leave the job, the next guy who's coming, will he able to make better forecast? If he has no past data, probably no. I need to give a past. Then only you can predict the future. If you have no idea about the past, you will be shooting in the dark. If it hits, you bullseye. If it does not hit, you make a next shot. So he was relying solely on head shift. Now remember, only those organizations will survive in the world who are not people dependent, who are process dependent. I also understand the fact ultimately it is the people who will do the process. But if you rely heavily on people, then there will always be a damage of risk. What if tomorrow the people leave? But if the organization is based on process, then you don't need to worry about people leaving at all. And that's why there's one I'm forgetting which is one ISO. I forget that number of that ISO. One ISO certificate is only given to those organizations who claims that we are fully process dependent. And today, if all my staff leaves and tomorrow a new staff comes, they can immediately log into the system and can start working on day one without any efficient issue. That is a process dependent organization. So like for example, because I audited Godrej, so Godrej has a process dependent certificate ISO number. They say because everything is documented on a system, if somebody comes you don't need to ask. Have you ever seen some places where if you have ever raised a complaint on call center and you disconnected the call, and half an hour or 1 hour later you again call back. Whatever you have told is already stored in the system. The person picking the call knows what are the issues. Have you ever experienced that? Right? Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, this was ISO. This was the referring. Thank you, Radhakish. So you understand. So this time at times it happens that you need to be process dependent. And though we understand process will be done by people, but it should not be dependent only on people. Otherwise, they can always negotiate. They can always extortionate from you. So they do not have data driven, but they go on chef common sense. High job mobility, because if tomorrow, if headset leaves, it becomes a huge vacuum in the company. And you can't keep on changing. Trial and error does not work in guesswork and inventory requirements. Technology adoption is mandatory. You cannot avoid technology. Whatever you do, if you don't have technology, you are outdated. This 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 depends on our profession also. If in our is soon out of the business. So, so we should not be afraid of AI. We should be afraid of people who know AI and use AI. Because if I don't use technology, somebody else will use technology and he'll be more competitive than me. And client will not pay me only for seeing. Client will pay me for giving efficient results. So that way you need to always change out. So they have time consuming and costly in-house food preparation that can be always outsourced. Like to give an example of sweets. Sweets are always given outsourced. How they can overcome challenges, they can always have data-driven forecasting that can always help you out. Historical trends can give you data. For example, you all know that weekends will have always higher demand, and then uh, weekends will always have higher demands, and then weekdays have different demands. Retention documentation can always help you. If you have a proper documentation, it is always ensures. Data should be always if you share data with clients on email and all, it will have less time on to and fro. You can always have digital tools for inventory checks so that chef do not focus on mundane tasks. He focus more on creative issues. Always outsource preparation of food products like, as I said, bread, desserts, frozen. This will not have impact on you. Always have supplier collaboration. You can always go for outsourced model or hybrid models. Something can like take example of. I'll give an example of waiters or serving staff. In weekends, I need to go into ROE. ROE would be any buildings they would have taken on rent. Any building they would have taken on rent. If it's a banquet hall, that can come banquet hall also. But generally, banquet halls are generally in-house. Generally. Now, have you seen golf carts? Have you seen a golf cart in hotels? Golf cart. Hotels take golf carts where you don't need to walk. They give you a golf cart from reception to your room and all. So do they buy it or do they take on lease? So they take on lease. Okay. So that way also comes into that. That way it comes into that. In terms of goodwill, any idea what could be in goodwill? What is in goodwill? Any idea? Can I recognize human as intangible? Can I recognize brand value if purchased? Humans cannot be recognized. So let's say, so there is a concept called workforce. Assembled workforce cannot be recognized in it cannot be recognized in balance sheet, even though you purchase. Say, for example, now Taj Hotels purchase McDonald's, and McDonald's has very good chefs. They have the art of making best burgers. Let's assuming. If I buy McDonald's and I'm getting 10 best chefs in that, can I recognize those 10 chefs as goodwill or as a skilled staff in my balance sheet? Answer is no. Standard does not allow. Ind AS 36 intangibles or IFRS do not allow recognizing assembled workforce, that we do not recognize. Goodwill is whenever I do any business acquisition, whatever extra money I've paid will go under goodwill. Intangible assets could be what could be my intangible assets? It could be my brand if I purchase any brand, not my own brand. Taj brand cannot be in Taj company. It cannot be brand I purchased. My softwares, my website will be in intangible or no? Website, I made a website, you made a booking on my websites. Will that website be intangible or no? What's your view? Any idea website cost for making website will be an intangible or no? Intangible assets under development, something you are preparing. Investments accounted using the equity method. Any idea what would be coming under the investments accounted under equity method? Any idea? So associates. Associates, you don't use equity method for, so we generally use associates generally. For equity, you can use net assets method for joint JVs. Goodwill always paid for business takeover, correct. For financial assets, investments will come subsidiary or JVs you have. Loans you have given other financial assets, deferred tax, it's fine. Now, inventory, if you see, what is inventory you see? 149 crores. After how many hotels they would be having approximately? Approximately how many hotels would be having approximately a number we take? Can we take 500 numbers or 1000 number approximately? 1000 hotels, 500 hotels, 1000 hotels, whatever number you would take. So only 149 crore inventory. That's a raw food, including grains, including liquors, whatever they would be having, bars, that would be. So they try to control their, they try to control working capital as much as possible. Then they have mutual fund investments, should be short-term investments. Then they have, okay, just give me 1 minute, just give me 1 minute. Just give me 2 minutes to change the network. I'm getting a network issue. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So, so we were at inventory. They control inventory. Then they put investments in current assets, would be mutual funds. Then trade receivables. So one of the biggest trade receivables. So normally hotel always takes money in advance. Then any idea why they would be having trade receivables generally? Normally, so it is always corporate clients. So if you have a deal with corporates, or DSAs, or where you have agents, where so there is always a receivable issue. So many companies have schemes where they can customer their staff can use their hotel premises, and the company will pay the bill later. So that is corporate clients. Cash and cash balance, they have 400 crores, FDs 1400 crores, loans and all is fine. Now you see what is their equity. Equity is 142 crore. That's the equity. And what is the reserve balance out of this 142 crores? 12,900 crores. So is that a good business? You put 142 crores and getting 12,900 crores. That's the overall return you have made. Then you have a controlling interest because it's a controlling company. Then we have borrowings, lease liability because we have ROU. That's why we have a lease liability. Then rest are okay. Borrowings and other payables provisions, it's fine. So that is fine. Now you tell me how much revenue you think the entire Taj Group would be having. This Indian hotel company would be having. How much revenue you think would be approximately? How much revenue you think you would be having? Okay. So see, my investment is how much? My investment is approximately 13,000 is the investment. Approximately 13,000. So it is should be roughly 10,000 crores. So if you see the revenue, they're having at 10,000 crores. Now comes a bigger shocker in this. So revenue is 10,000 crores, right? How much you think is food and beverages cost in this 10,000 crores revenue? So if my 10,000 crore is the total revenue from our operations of all the hotels, 50% is food and beverages. Okay. The answer is is on a screen only. Is in front of your screen. Let me increase the font size, maybe it will give a better view. Now, what do you think is the revenue, is the percentage of food and beverages as compared to the total revenue? Now you see how the hotel makes money. Now you see how the hotel makes money in the food. 10% of the cost, only 950 crores is the cost. So, so revenue is food and beverages are not very expensive cost. They make more money in stay, and they try to make more margins in revenue. The biggest cost is always employees, and that's why you see 25% is your labor cost, staff cost. Employee benefit cost is 25%. Okay. And finance cost is very nominal, and depreciation, all these are all things fine. Now, how much profit you think, how much PBT they are making percentage wise? PBT. How much PBT you think they are making percentage wise? Or PAT, whatever you say. 30% is the PBT, 30% profit before taxes. If you take 10,000 crore, 3,000 crore is the profit. And net profit after tax, profit after taxes, 22% approx. So it is out of 10,000 crore, 22.47. That's a kind of, and I'm not talking of OCI. We are just talking of pure only profit above OCI. And if you see OCI, it is 22.47. It has increased 200 crores. That's the kind of margin hotel industry has. It only has because they keep on increasing every year. And I'll take you to their brands also. But before that, let me just show you one important point to understand. Whenever you see cash flow, whenever you see any cash flow, the most important item in cash flow is to see is this number. This is the most important item to see. How much cash you have generated from operations. If this number is in positive and growing from the last year's number, that means you are in a safe situation. If this number is lower than investing in operating activities and banking activities, investing and financing, then something is wrong. Now you see the financing activities very nominal. You see, very nominal. They are negative. So that means they are repaying. So that way we need to see. Now, just to take you on the PPE, just to give you an idea of PPE. If you see out of maximum is what? Freehold land and buildings. That's the maximum money they have put. Buildings is the maximum they would have put money. That's what their balance is. Maximum is they put land and building is the maximum. Okay. Out of that's the maximum they have. Now, if you go into ROU, so see ROU, they have taken land, building, plant and machinery, office premises, they have all taken ROU. So this is what goodwill is whatever you buy. They have taken a company, bought a hotel in UK. Goodwill comes from that. Intangibles, what they have? Leasehold property rights. Now, any idea what is this intangible you think leasehold property rights? Any idea? Any idea what this could be? Any idea what this intangible could be? So let's say you are a company, you have a rental agreement with someone. You will pay rent of 1 lakh per annum for next 30 years. Do you remember that Delhi Gymkhana Club in Delhi? How much was the rental? Any idea for that? How much was the rental per year? Anyone has any idea? 99 years. What was the rental per month, per year rental? 600 rupees per year, right? Do you think that's a do you think that's a very good deal, right? Now, let's say I take over from Delhi Gymkhana as a Taj Group. I take over that Delhi Gymkhana. Now, do I get the benefit of this 500 rupees for next 99 years? Do I get that right also? Yes, no, maybe. So this is a favorable lease. This will not be if I would have taken loan, taken agreement today. So this favorable lease will also get accounted as an intangible because this is a right I'm getting now. As per India's intangibles, so this will be accounted and that way they have defined in refer footnote 4. They would have acquired this and that's why it is coming here. Had I would have, imagine if Taj would have made a deal that, okay, give me at 500 rupees for next 100 years, it will not come in my balance sheet as an asset. It will not come here. It is because I am buying from somebody else in a business acquisition. That's why it is coming here, right? Then website development cost, whatever you incurred in that, software and all, these are basic things. So this is basics. I just want to take you to the most important part. Now, out of this, whatever number you have seen, any idea which segment gives the maximum money to Taj? The luxury one or the uh, so let's say there's a group called luxury, which is a premium royal hotels. Then there is a group called Taj Vivanta, which is classy, elegant. Then there is a group called Taj Ginger. Ginger is uh, Ginger is a high brand or Ginger is a working class brand where you need to take your own luggage. What is Ginger? Ginger is will not give you a five-star comfort. They will give you amenities of five-star, but you need to take your luggage yourself. So Ginger is for working class where you go and shift in, shift out. Okay, now if you assume 100 is the revenue, if you assume 100 is the revenue of total Taj, how much you think is coming from luxury? Approximately. How much do you think will come from luxury? Randomly. How much do you think? Any thoughts? How much do you think would have made from, if you want to see the brands from luxury, you are saying 10%. Okay. If you see the brands, these all are brands. Taj, Claridge, Atmantan, Bridge, Selections, Clarks, Gateway, Vivanta, Ginger, Tree of Life, Amastain Trails, Cumin, Solomonaire, Taj Sats. These are all Taj brands where they earn revenue. Now you see the numbers. Just a second, where's the numbers? Okay. Now you see the numbers here. Let me increase the fonts just to give you an idea. Okay. How much is the top line? 11,700 crore. Okay. This is for Taj Group, the Taj Luxury. Vivanta 2150. What is the gap you see between Taj and Vivanta and Selections? What is the gap you see? Significant, massive gap. Now you see what is happening from Vivanta to Ginger, Tree of Life, and all others, right? And now you see all new brands, Solomonaire, Claridge, Atmantan, Bridge, Clarks, Taj, Sats, they give you 1200 crore. Now you see the way how it is moving on. And if you see the total consolidated revenue, 69% is coming from luxury, 70% approx is coming from luxury, 10% from upper scale, 12% by catering. I'm sure you all know Taj also provides catering in various flights, right? In various flights also provide caterings. So they earn money there also. And the catering in a flight is a premium flights. So this is how you work when you give all segments. Now, can you tell me what is the risk of only operating in this segment? Tomorrow, somebody can argue that, okay, Sumit, if you are making so much money in this 69%, why not we let us focus only on luxury? Why to waste efforts on these all brands? Any idea why only this brand, only working in luxury may not help me out? Any idea why? Any idea why? Will you use luxury in all the times? Or when the economy is in depression, you will use luxury? Luxury is only used when economy is going good. What if economy goes bad? And economy goes bad at times. Then do you think your company will allow to stay in five star? If the economy is not going good, will your company says go to five star, or company will say no, reduce your budget? What do you think? So that way, you cannot depend on only on one luxury class, because if tomorrow something happens, some global issue happens, let's say what happened, Iran Iraq war happened, something happened like COVID, like what happened currently in Israel, whatever happening, it is impacting. Like Middle East, you all know is getting impacted a lot in luxury because people are not going there because of war. Who will go there? So that's the way we need to understand that the diversification will always help you, and how smartly you diversify depends on your experience. So this is broadly I had to share on hotel industry and the case study we discussed. If you have any questions, you can ask, or any experience you like to share, you can speak and unmute and speak. Else, I can hand over to Deepak sir. Thank you all for your patient hearing and patient response during the session. Because of your response, we also learn at times, and it's good to see that I appreciate people who are. I appreciate people who have responded at least, rather than tried working on it. So always try solving things by your own hand, so you'll never make a mistake in real exam. If you make a mistake here, it's all fine. You are all allowed to fail here, but in exam you try to pass, and you will only pass in exam when you do it before exam. Yeah, so Gymkhana is because of 1930, and that's the reason they are very, very cheap. And that is the reason it got cancelled. So, see, anything can be, because in 1930, I can pass any government law. So that is all fine. I'm not saying fine is, at the time, 500 would be a very big item. Imagine in 1930, 500 would be too high. Today you are finding it very small, right? So thank you all for patient hearing, and I wish you all the best. Now, Deepak sir, over to you.
Uh, on behalf of everyone here, I would like to sincerely thank CA Sumidada sir for this interactive session. We truly appreciate the way you explain how tax laws, financial reporting regulations, and business strategy are linked together when a company wants to grow in a responsible way. Your example, even discussion through annual reports of listed company made it clear the real business decisions are not about one subject alone, but about looking at the bigger picture. This is exactly what the integrated business solution paper is designed to teach us, to connect knowledge from different areas and apply it in practice. Sir, your insights have given students clarity and confidence. We are very grateful to you. Students, if you have any questions, please ask now. There is a question about importance of annual reports for CA final IBS. Students, many students ask whether they should read annual reports for the IBS paper. In this situation, my answer is yes. Not because you need to memorize them, but because they help you to understand how the concept you study are applied in real business. An annual report covers various aspects like industry analysis, application of Indian accounting standards, corporate governance, risk management, financial statement analysis, auditors report, as well as management discussion and analysis. Students, if you spare some time, try reading an annual report just like you would read a magazine. Simply read like a magazine. Don't worry about understanding every technical detail. Your objective should be to understand company's business. You have to understand company's business, the challenges it face, and how accounting, auditing, taxation, governance, as well as strategy are reflected in practice. While guiding, I always use common practical examples. Again, I am taking same. If we discuss a pharmaceutical company, we naturally come across with in AS 38. It is about intangible assets. Since pharmaceutical companies incur significant expenditure on R&D, patents, okay, and licenses. Similarly, when discussing companies that receive government grants, then we can relate the same with India's 20 accounting for government grants and disclosure of government assistance. Okay, when you study concepts through an annual report, they become easier to remember because you can connect the theory with real business situations. This practical approach not only strong your understanding of individual subjects but also make you ready for integrated thinking, which is essence of this paper. Now, again, it's a common question. I have not studied the self-paced module in details. Students, I always request you to do both modules very carefully. Okay, you know that set A covers corporate and economic laws. Students, please note that one thing is certain: the Companies Act will apply to almost all companies discussed in the case studies, whether it is through a multiple choice question or a descriptive question. You are likely to encounter questions from this area. In today's context, where corporate issues or corporate governance failure are increasingly reported, therefore it becomes very relevant area. Questions based on this topic are generally simple, straightforward, and can be connected with any case study in a very easy manner. Therefore, you cannot ignore corporate governance area. If the company is listed, then you may expect one or two questions from SEBI LODR area. Similarly, if company is having foreign operations or is planning to invest abroad, then you can expect question from FEMA area. Overall, you may expect around 15 to 20 marks question from this area. If your concept is clear, answering them won't be difficult. Students, similarly, set B focus on strategic models. Strategic models are base for this paper. Okay, which type of strategic models like McKinsey's 7S, Porter 5 Forces, Value Chain, Altman's Z Score. Okay, these models are base of decision making, and these models are often tested in your case studies. You cannot ignore these. It is advisable to practice how to apply these models. Creating a mind map of key strategic models and their application is very, very useful in this exam. Having a solid conceptual understanding of both sets is very essential. It will help you connect topics, apply models, and answers with clarity and confidence. Any other query? Again, very relevant question and very common question. Sir, please tell what are the books we need to carry in examination hall. Students, feel free to refer any study material you are comfortable with. You may carry any material, but it is as advisable to carry the material that is base of your study or your foundation. It will be very useful. In addition, any mind map chart you have created to simplify the concept you can carry. In fact, your creating your own mind map is highly recommended, because the best mind map is the one which is prepared by you. Please try to make your own notes and try to carry those notes in examination hall. It will be very, very useful. Students, please note that when you make your notes yourself, you remember the flow better and know exactly where to find what during the examination. You have to understand how to apply open book resources in examination. Again, for this paper, conceptual understanding is must. Your own notes, your mind maps helps you to link concepts quickly and apply them under time of pressure. Students, if you don't have conceptual understanding, I am sure you will end up with wasting of your time only. You won't be able to complete your examination. Again, remember the focus of this examination is on application and analysis and not just recall. So, take only those materials that help you apply what you have already understood. Okay? Any other query? Uh, there is query in chat box how IBS paper examiner rewards the marks because it depends upon a student's individual experience or skill to answer this paper. It depends upon skill to answer the paper. Okay. How should we answer the case study question? We have to understand their pattern and length of answer. I always give a common example of Porter's five forces. In previous session, I have also given this common example. Okay, please understand how much we have to write. Let us say question says to assess competitive environment and it is having worth of 12 marks. The best way to tackle this is by applying Porter's five forces, which helps you to assess industry level competitiveness. Each of the force is a major heading. Students, please note that each of the force is a major heading and each carries approximately 2.4 marks. It means in each point you have to write either 2 points or 3 points. To write a complete high scoring answer, you must understand in this situation you have to write at least two key points and you have to end your solution with proper conclusion. Further, this paper is not about memorization skills. Simply copying and pasting won't work. Here you have to apply the concepts. If you are applying the concepts in a right manner, you will surely get full marks. Again, this paper is about proper planning and proper strategy. You should understand this integration. Practice enough number of case studies. Okay. Now, students, if you have any query, you may ask. Otherwise, I am winding up this session. Okay. To all the students who joined today. Thank you for your active participation and your questions. Your interest made the session even more meaningful. Keep learning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep practicing. Wishing you all the very best. Once again, a big thank you to Sumit sir and to everyone who made this session a success. Thank you, everyone. Please end session.
Recording stopped.